What if a single seed buried on a quiet island could grow into any plant the earth needed, and in doing so change the world in ways we never imagined? The idea sat in Maya's mind like a hummingbird, bright and impossible. She lived in a small harbor town, her days spent cataloging seaweed and humming to the rhythm of gulls. Her research grant was running low, her dreams of a bigger laboratory slipping farther away. She had not known the word destiny until that hummingbird of a thought took root. The sea had always been a kind teacher. Maya would sit on a worn wooden pier, watching the waves kiss the shore, and let her mind drift to the stories of old fishermen. One evening an old fisherman named Sam told her about a forgotten island, far from the mainland, that only appeared on stormy nights. He said that on that island he had found a seed unlike any other, a seed that pulsed with a strange warm glow. "It's not a seed you can see," Sam whispered, his eyes reflecting the moonlight. "It's a promise, a secret." Maya's curiosity grew like a vine. She packed a small bag, took a notebook, and set sail the next day. The ocean was calm, the sky a quiet blue, and the wind tugged gently at her hair. When she finally reached the island, the landscape was quiet and still, a patchwork of green and sand. She walked along the shoreline, her boots leaving faint prints, and found a small grove of trees, each with a single seed at its base. The seeds were unlike any she had seen, smooth, dark, and somehow pulsing with a faint light. She touched one, and it slipped from her fingers, leaving a faint, sweet scent behind. Her breath caught. She knew she had found something extraordinary. She gathered several seeds, careful not to break them, and returned to the harbor, her mind racing. What if this seed could help people? What if it could grow into a tree that cleaned polluted water, or a flower that healed wounds? The possibilities swirled in her head like the wind on the sea. Back at her tiny apartment, Maya set up a small greenhouse in the corner. She placed each seed in a pot, fed them with water and sunlight, and watched. The first seed sprouted after a week, growing into a small vine that brushed the windowsill. The second seed grew into a tiny shrub that smelled of citrus. The third seed sprouted a delicate blue flower that exhaled a sweet perfume. Each plant seemed to match the environment, a vine that needed shade, a shrub that craved sunlight, a flower that thrummed with light. Maya called this the seed's gift. Her excitement grew, but she also felt a weight in her chest. The island story and Sam's words echoed. It's a promise, a secret. She wondered if it was a gift or a curse. She kept her notes secret, afraid that the world might misuse it. But soon, the news of her discovery reached a quiet lab in the city, where a scientist named Arun was researching sustainable plants. He wrote to Maya, asking if he could visit her. She was wary, but curiosity outweighed fear. Arun arrived with a notebook, a heart full of kindness, and a smile that seemed to understand the weight of the moment. Arun explained that the seed might be a new type of plant that could adapt to any environment. He suggested that the seed might be a key to solving many problems: food shortages, pollution, medicine. He warned that if the seed grew too quickly, it could also upset the balance of nature. Maya listened, her mind swirling with hope and fear. They began to experiment. They planted the seeds in soil from different parts of the world, a dusty desert, a marshland, a forest. Each time the seed grew into a plant that suited that place. A seed in desert soil sprouted a cactus that drank the sun in the marshland. It became a willow that drank the mud in the forest. It turned into a tall pine that listened to the wind. The more they observed, the more they understood. The seed was not just a plant. It was a living mirror of the earth's needs. One day, Maya noticed a strange change. The vines that had grown into a grove along the garden wall began to spread into the surrounding area. They grew faster than any plant she had seen, pushing through the grass, bending the trees. The island's birds, once chirping happily, began to sing with an urgent tone, as if they sensed something in the air. Maya's heart pounded. She thought of Sam's warning. She realized that the seed was not merely growing, it was learning to grow where it was needed most. Arun was calm. He said, "Nature is not static. She is always changing. The seed is a mirror of that change." Maya felt the island's winds feel as if they were a living being, pushing seeds into the sea, into the wind, into everything. She saw the seeds begin to appear in other places, on nearby islands, on the reef, on a boat that had drifted in. The seed was not just a single promise. It was a tide of change. The news of Maya's discovery spread. A corporation called Novatera, with a gleaming logo and a promise to terraform hostile planets, reached out to her. They offered a partnership, use the seed to grow forests on Mars, to build green cities on barren lands. Maya's hands trembled. She felt a pull between her dream to help people and the fear that her gift could become a tool of exploitation. She remembered the seed's gift and the island's wind, and she thought of the birds singing a desperate song. Arun, who had grown close to Maya, urged her to stay cautious. He reminded her of a story his grandmother told. The river may carry you, but you must choose your path. He whispered that the seed could become a monster if it grew uncontrolled, like a fire that spreads in dry grass. Maya felt her mind swirl. She stood in her greenhouse surrounded by plants that had grown from the seed. The scent of the blue flower filled the air, sweet and strong. She closed her eyes and heard the wind, felt the trees bend, and saw the future she could create. The climax came when Novatera sent a team of scientists and a drone that could carry the seed across the ocean. They wanted to collect it for a project. Maya was inside the greenhouse, the seed glowing, the plants whispering. She could see the drone's headlights in the distance, and the drone's shadow crept over her garden. She remembered the birds' urgent songs and the wind's warning. She made a choice. She stepped into the greenhouse and, with a careful motion, crushed one of the seeds on the cold, damp soil. The seed shivered, then dissolved, its light fading into the air. The plant seemed to sigh, and the wind slowed. Maya felt a strange relief, like a burden lifted. But she also felt the sting of loss, of the possibility that she had only stopped a seed that might have helped many. She went to Novatera, and they did not accept her. They asked her why she had destroyed the seed. Maya, with tears in her eyes, said, "The seed was not a tool, it was a promise. It could change the world, but it could also change the world wrong. I chose to keep the earth's balance." The final scene shows Maya walking on the beach, watching the tide. The sun paints the sky in orange and purple. She feels the wind, she feels the earth. She thinks of the seed that grew in a hidden island, of the plants that had grown to meet the needs of the earth, and of the birds that sang a desperate song. She knows that nature is a living entity, and it must be treated with care. She wonders what the future will hold. Will the world use the seed responsibly, or will it turn it into a weapon? The wind carries her thoughts into the night. She leaves the island with a heavy heart, but also with a small seed of hope that maybe, just maybe, the earth will listen. The story ends with a thought. The earth is not a place to be conquered. It is a place to be listened to. The seed that can grow to meet the needs of the world is a reminder that nature will never truly be tamed, only respected. The wind, the birds, the plants, all are voices in a conversation that never ends. Maya knows she must keep listening, and that is the true gift.
Found this interesting? Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like, share it out, and drop your questions or ideas in the comments. Until our next adventure.